this was a really big issue, and it is a big issue, and quite a complex one. But should school changing rooms be gender neutral? And what about toilets and uniforms? Hands up those who say yes. Hands up those get the camera around the... Yeah, what about no? There's a couple up the back. The teachers' union says it's important for girls and boys to choose. Do you agree, Denise?
Yeah, totally. We've been really, really horrible to kids. We've been horrible to kids for years and years and years, forcing them into little boxes. So this is about treating them with dignity. And 1 in 5 trans kids actually report being bullied on a weekly basis. So we need to be looking after people a lot better, and good on the PPTA for saying this.
But how many are there? There's not a lot. There's not many in the population, is there?
1.2%.
1.2%?
Yeah.
From the Adolescent Health Survey last year, 1.2%.
Okay, so what do you make of this issue?
I'm pretty relaxed on this. I think education needs to be a safe place for everyone.
Yeah.
And if that 1.2% are feeling threatened, bullied, self-harm, whatever we can do to make it easier for them, I think that's what the school community should decide.
So changing rooms gender neutral, what? Okay, what about toilets and uniforms?
I'm quite okay with that, very relaxed on that. But up to the school community, let them decide.
It's up to them. What about you, Penny?
Yeah, look, I've got a young family and I love my kids. Let's just give them a safe environment, love them, regardless. And that's what I'm for.
Isn't this just unisex? Isn't that what it really is?
And so?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So what?
It's about people choosing who they want to be.
So why is it now an issue, do you think?
Because schools used to force people into little boxes, force them into what they could wear, force them about how long their skirts could be or not. Not let them wear shorts if they were girls, not let them wear skirts if they were boys.
Some would say that no child. Okay, I'm quoting Family First. Some say I'm quoting Family First. Nevertheless, there'll be people out there thinking no child should be forced into an intimate setting like a changing room with another child of the opposite sex.
Yeah, look, I take the point of my colleague here. Safe environments, and it isn't simply a case of changing a sign on the door. You've got to change a culture, you've got to change a setting into the school so that they are safe environments for our tamariki.
Yeah,
All right. And what about the choice? I mean, boys wearing skirts. I mean, is that a good idea?
It's up to them.
Up to them?
Yeah, let kids do what they like. It's not going to affect their learning. What we want is for them to learn and them to be in a school environment that promotes that. And the uniform doesn't, quite frankly. Has nothing to do with learning.
All right, so real agreement around the panel on this one, Charlotte.
Yeah, I've got Kate Ashcroft, who was part of the organisation that got Wellington East girls wearing gender-neutral uniforms. What was the sort of motivation, I guess, for you to become involved in that?
Yeah, well, we just had lots of young students, especially in like year 9s and 10, talking about how they were so uncomfortable wearing the skirts and how they wanted an option. They still wanted to stay at Wellington East, but they just didn't feel comfortable with skirts. It would make them not want to come to school. And so we...
Because they identified as males?
Yeah, because they were trans or they were gender non-conforming, or just the idea of being assumed as female was really uncomfortable for them. And so we petitioned with our Board of Trustees, and we contacted Inside Out, who now I'm working with, and yeah, we managed that process, yeah.
Yeah, one of the first high schools. Congratulations. And got a lot of support.
Very cool.
Yeah. Sean Cooper, you've flown down from Auckland. You're a high school teacher up there, and you were involved in this process as well, weren't you?
Yeah, talofa lava from Auckland, warm Pacific greetings.
And is it just about uniforms?
No, not at all. I'm glad to see that the panel is well informed on the issues, and it's great to hear that support. That's what we're getting from schools as well. But these guidelines, the revision, it was more about health and well-being for LGBTI students. And we were responding to statistics from the Youth 2000 survey series that still shows not just bullying, but we're looking at 50% of our young people who are LGBTI showing depressive symptoms, 75% having thoughts of suicidality, and 1 in 5 attempting suicide. That's just not good enough. And so what I'd like to do is turn this back to the government on some real issues that you can weigh in on. Right now, in the past year, the Youth 2000 survey, for 10 years, statistics have not got better for LGBTI. Funding to that survey series has been cut. They're looking for funding for 2018 to do it again. We've got non-compulsory sexuality education still in schools. That's a big issue. So LGBTI issues and health and welfare, they may not see themselves represented in sexuality education. And then, our third issue is that the suicide prevention strategy is being out for comment right now. And despite everything I've said about the Youth 2000 survey series, there's a justification of not having enough data on the LGBTI community that they've actually been left out again as a community of importance on suicide prevention.
Sorry to interrupt, but what were some examples from your school of the sorts of, were children struggling to learn? It was obviously really distracting for them.
Yeah, what we know is that intolerance, a lack of inclusion, when you're asked to use facilities that don't represent you and your identity can't be celebrated, you're not motivated to come to school. So truancy, lack of engagement, and when you're being bullied and you're afraid to come to school, you're not thinking about your studies. So we're seeing that we want our young people to do the very best they can at school.
And
All right. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Hey, Sean Cooper, it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks.
All the way from Auckland, Avondale. Fantastic round of applause for Sean. So, Charlotte, while you're there, what about the MOU team there? The MOU team. What does Andrew and Matilda think about maybe a post-gender world, gender neutrality?
well, Materia's gone to get another beer, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew?
Yeah, I think as Penny said, my amazing colleague Penny said, it is about safe environments and good learning environments. And unless you feel safe, you feel comfortable, and you can be who you want to be, then you're not going to have a good learning environment. So totally support measures that are going to just mean students get a chance to learn and enjoy and excel at the experience of school.
You've got a son, don't you, Andrew? Has your school brought up any of this sort of stuff, or your son's school?
Not that I'm aware of, no. Single-sex boys' school here in Wellington. I'm not aware of the school having dealt with it, started a conversation about it. But, his generation, his friends, they do talk about this stuff. So they're thinking about it.
Thank you, Wallace.
What did you make of the, what Sean was saying there about non-compulsory sex education? Is there something that you would do?
Oh, yeah, I'm very comfortable with education
Yeah.
that appropriately includes sex education, the alternative groups that are
So
there.
compulsory
Absolutely.
as a GP? Are you for it?
I don't know if I'd make it compulsory. I'd certainly put it on the curriculum. I think it needs to be in the curriculum, but be to be selected by students and in consultation with schools and boards
Why
and
not?
parents.
Why not? Why not compulsory?
Because I'm not convinced that there are some things that should be compulsory. I think students have different learning needs and different pathways, and they should be able to select the menu that best suits them.
Hey, just out of interest, Denise, you were going to say something?
I think the curriculum can actually be really helpful in changing the culture. And so, having those sorts of subjects as a compulsory subject, then everybody's getting the same information. So it makes it a lot easier to bed in a change in an attitude towards people who don't fit the little boxes.
Just in terms of the wider gender stereotype, here's something that I saw just a few days ago. So I was down at my local sort of coffee shop. And I saw a girl of about 4 or 5, and she was playing with, her little pink oven and that type of thing, with little pots and pans. And then that's also, I was just wondering, where does that gender stereotype come from? And is that something, if you saw that, would you go, that's wrong?
Oh, well, my son used to wear my dresses all the time.
Right.
And to the supermarket, in fact. So,
Oh, yes.
he did grow out of that,
What about you, Penny?
which is a shame.
Look, and that's the beauty about Māori culture. My girl can haka better than any man. She can swing a poi and sing a song better than any woman.
Yeah.
And they grow up in an environment that embraces that, and I love that.
But where does it come from? It was just so blatant, a sort of a pink oven, the pots and pans, and, that was...
I don't know where it's
You
come from,
walk
but it's
down
old school.
You walk down an aisle, a toy shop aisle, and you'll see pink, and you'll see, marketing to girls, and it's really, really, really stereotyped.
Yeah.
So, we can shift that, and that's what we should be working to do.
We can shift that. Your thoughts on the hashtag backbenchers. Look, stay with us. Next up, what should our national anthem be?